So this is an introduction to a counter system that actually looks at figures for unemployment within the UK. You'll notice that we have the figures here for less than 2% to figures greater than 10%. You'll also notice here that we have the figures for the highest, most affected areas, which interconnect to areas like Birmingham, which you have there, and areas like London, etc. You can move around the screen and actually get to see other figures as well. But for the purposes of this video, we're actually going to run and see what actually happens. You'll see the date here changes between 05, before the crash, onwards. So automatically you notice that these details are changing. So Camberwell at the bottom there has changed. Tottenham, there's Liverpool, Walton 6.3%. Hackney South is featured at 6.6% in October 06. And you also notice here that all our colours are also changing as well. We can look at areas like Hartlepool as well to see the different rates. Now Hull East is at 5%, which is a figure that appears and builds in later clips. You'll see in the majority of cases that Ladywood and Sparkbrook are the highest unemployment areas. I'm just pointing out to these figures here so that you can see graphically even in those areas where those figures are and how they're affected. We can zoom into these sections should we wish, but it's very clear where the highest areas of unemployment are within the UK at these stages. We are certainly looking at areas like the Midlands. We could go to areas like, for example, the areas of Doncaster, Sheffield, which Doncaster features at 3.1% at that stage in 08. But we can look at various other areas as well where we can see unemployment is higher or indeed lower depending, but in the majority of cases we're actually looking at the Birmingham and London areas being key areas. Middlesbrough is featured there at the bottom in 08 at 5.8%. So as we continue, we carry on seeing the actual details like Wolverhampton and Birmingham are the highest areas of unemployment. In 09, Birmingham, Hull West now appears at 9.6, which is higher than Beverley, which is only a few miles away. Hull 9.6 there, 8.4 in Hull North. But if we were to expand in that particular area, we would get possibly a clear indication there of different aspects of Hull that are affected. Holton Price, Cleethorpes as well in those areas, but Holton Price area being slightly lower, being the west end of, whereas other parts are just that bit higher at Hull North being 8.4%, and the western side being 9.6. Should also be noted that in areas like Derbyshire, Sheffield, Rotherham area, you're at 6.8%, which again is quite high. And the figures in Doncaster area, which is another area which is very challenged by these figures, Doncaster North. So as we zoom through, we can see the continual, if we set the map there, we can see the figures continue. 8.5, we've got Middlesbrough area, that is affected as well, with figures that are high. Sedgefield, which is the former Prime Minister's area, 3.5%. Jarrow is at 5.5%. You'll reflect on an area like Jarrow March to think about that. Moving into January 2011, and again we see these high figures, and if we're looking on the other side, we've got various other figures there coming in. But our predominant areas are here. Hartlepool area, for example. Whole area 7.7, which is just under. This area here, Birkenhead, is 6.9, 7.6. So it's the whole northeast, Manchester, Liverpool areas. Huddersfield is affected in that area. Birmingham, which we can again magnify should we want to, but we can see straight away the areas and figures that actually are represented. And by September 11, we're again looking at Middlesbrough being 9.1 and Ladywood, which consistently, and Sparkbrook consistently remain high on the figures. Heading into 2012, when we see Bootle, which we pointed out a few minutes back, being in the Liverpool area at 9.6, and again Hodge Hill and Ladywood remain high, with Middlesbrough being 9%. So we're looking at this area here being affected in the northeast. Middlesbrough there being at 9.9%. Bootle being in this area here at 9.6%. We know that this area here I've already highlighted at high figures in Hull West. Birmingham, which has consistently features a high unemployment figure. In this particular instance, Edgbaston, where the cricket ground is 6.3. And there are some areas of London as well where figures are high. And finally, just coming to April 2012, which is when this particular series of links was put up, we again see the same figures appearing, although Belfast here has figures that are high. If you reflect on those in relation to the political areas highlighted, you can see how and why these areas are being targeted. Thank you for taking time to watch this video.